Everyone starts cultivating meditation without having cut off these thoughts. If they were already cut off, there would be no need to cultivate. Once cut off, right? Concentration would naturally come. The reason everyone often cannot enter concentration is actually because lustful thoughts are causing trouble. Because lustful thoughts come from the thoughts of taking rebirth. They are the earliest. When you haven't eaten anything yet, it's from the father's essence and mother's blood. It's the parent's single lustful thought that summoned you to come over. So everyone starts from lustful thoughts initially. So of course you can cultivate. What's there to fear? You know, even if beings from the heavenly demon realm come, what's to fear? They won't necessarily possess your body. They haven't taken a liking to you. This is why I sometimes say we might teach the Śūraṅgama Sutra and the Infinite Life Sutra together in the future, because beings from the heavenly demon realm also want to go to the Pure Land. So they also need to practice, you know. So times change. In this special time and space, heavenly demon realm beings aspire to be reborn in the Pure Land. So you don't need to worry about them possessing your body. Besides, everyone starts by cutting off these thoughts gradually. Don't be afraid. There's also protection. Buddha said to first wear the Śūraṅgama Mantra. You can wear the Śūraṅgama Mantra on your body. Look, the full name of the Śūraṅgama Sutra is the Sutra of the Foremost Śūraṅgama Samadhi, the secret cause of the Tathagata's cultivation and verification of complete meaning and the myriad practices of all bodhisattvas. First, what is called the Great Buddha's Crown? In which volume of the Śūraṅgama Sutra? I forget. The Buddha tells you what the Great Buddha's Crown is. The specific meaning is, when you understand the teachings of the Śūraṅgama Sutra, when you see the Śūraṅgama Sutra, you see the crown of the Great Buddha. Understand? All Buddhas have no crown, no visible crown appearance. The Buddha's crown cannot be seen, but when you see the Śūraṅgama Sutra, when you hear the Śūraṅgama Mantra, this is seeing the Tathagata's crown. This is called the Great Buddha's Crown. These are the Buddha's original words from the sutra text. So the entire Śūraṅgama Sutra is the Great Buddha's Crown. When you study the Avatamsaka Sutra in the future, it will be the Tathagata's entire body. You see the Tathagata's complete body. You see at the beginning the Tathagata enters concentration and doesn't speak. All the bodhisattvas are speaking. Samantabhadra Bodhisattva is introducing the flower treasury world. All the bodhisattvas are his infinite manifestations speaking. The Tathagata doesn't speak. That is everything the wordless true sutra. So when everyone sees emptiness, when seeing the appearance of emptiness is not void space. That whiteboard has something on it. Those rows of whiteboards have something. It's not void space, nor is it nothing at all. That is emptiness, non-being. You know? Just joking. Everyone can awaken if they can. So seeing the Great Buddha's Crown, with the Great Buddha's Crown protecting you, what is there to fear? If you thoroughly study and understand the entire Śūraṅgama Sutra's teachings and carry the Śūraṅgama Mantra, the Great Buddha's Crown is with you. Why is it called Buddha's Crown? You see, the Śūraṅgama Mantra is spoken by a Buddha manifested in light emitted from the Buddha's crown. Why doesn't he speak with his mouth? This represents spiritual achievement. You know, a Buddha with accomplished Sambhogakaya opens the crown chakra, transforming into a Buddha manifested in light speaking. This is separated from the human physical body, separated from the human form body's crown chakra, speaking as a Buddha manifested in light, breaking through all appearances of the 3 realms and 6 paths. So the Śūraṅgama Mantra doesn't just break through the heavenly demon realm. Even if you are a ground stage bodhisattva, even if you are an accomplished arhat, all the mantras you speak are completely broken. All broken, breaking all appearances, the complete Diamond Sutra teaching. So this is very powerful. But you must understand, this mantra has a mantra heart. People often ask what the mantra heart is. The entire Śūraṅgama Sutra teaching is called the mantra heart, which is your original mind. Understand? It's also called the Śūraṅgama Samadhi. Your original mind is called the Śūraṅgama Samadhi. You don't need to recite a few phrases above and say that's the mantra heart. It's not. So with the Śūraṅgama Mantra's protection, plus the protection of dragon and heaven dharma protectors, and requesting protection from all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you won't go astray. Rest assured, even if lustful thoughts are not yet exhausted. It's just that if your lustful thoughts are not exhausted, it's very difficult to attain right concentration. Just like when I was practicing years ago, I really felt I was practicing quite well, with very powerful meditation skills. I would sit in concentration with light emanating from my head and entire body. The light would shine until at night. When I was meditating in the temple during retreat, I felt that light could shine beyond the walls, illuminating that mountain. That's how I felt. Others looking might not know. Anyway, I felt I could see everything clearly in the grass. Wow. Very powerful. I thought, manifestation bodies and infinite manifestation bodies that could do many things. At that time, a heavenly being came over and said this wasn't right concentration. They looked down on me then. I felt looked down upon. Like, you haven't entered right concentration. This isn't right concentration. I thought at the time, how am I not in right concentration? That was actual practice and realization, though it was also delusion. Because as long as there are states, they are products of delusion, within time and space, but it's also a process of cultivation and realization. Later, as you continue practicing, you realize that really wasn't it. You understand what right concentration is. You must exhaust lustful thoughts. After you exhaust lustful thoughts, those states and so on become effortless. And also, those are no longer important. What's important is that right concentration comes by itself. It's not whether you want right concentration or not. Eating, drinking, sleeping, all within concentration. That powerful. You know? This is the influence of lustful thoughts on our practice. I'm not telling everyone to become monks. First, I'm not telling everyone to divorce. There's no such meaning. I'm not telling you to abandon wife and children, abandon husband. There's no such meaning. Lustful thoughts are your own matter. You observe yourself, observe your own inner heart, that restless stirring feeling. Then the eye faculty also becomes defiled. And some people have this opening their eyes. Everything is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and lying. They go to another extreme. So arhats are world weary. Opening their eyes, they can't see good. He's also lustful. That's called severe defilement of your eye faculty. Lustful thoughts have already defiled your eye faculty. So you can't see like children see beings. So without lustful thoughts is only the heavenly realm. It's not the Buddha realm. Even without lustful thoughts, returning to the innocent heart is it. It means you never cut off lustful thoughts. You never had them either. After cutting them off and becoming pure, then as you become complete, there's still a period of completion afterward. You can never again remember, did I ever have lust? When did I have it? Did I ever cut it off? It seems like it happened infinite eons ago. At this time, you return to the innocent heart. Your mind is like a child's. Can the child see lust? They don't understand. So this world appears pure and undefiled before their eyes. Every day, very happy, sitting on the ground, playing with mud is very happy. They have no worries. They are ignorant. You return to original simplicity. You know, you have wisdom. You can understand everyone's afflictions. You can teach according to their capacity. You can lead beings toward liberation. That little child knows nothing. You still have to watch them. What if they fall in a pit? What if they fall down a sewer? How could Buddha fall down a sewer? You return to original simplicity. Mind like a child's, but won't fall down. Sewers don't need watching. From the actual practice perspective, it's still the previous question. First, cut off lustful thoughts. If you can't cut off lustful thoughts, habitual desires can't be exhausted. Scattered thoughts can't be exhausted either. You grasp at conditions, encounter situations, and grasp at conditions. The Buddha Dharma easily becomes a tool for your pride. The more you learn, the more arrogant you become. How could you possibly generate right faith? Yes, Buddha entered nirvana. If Buddha hadn't entered nirvana and was sitting there, you might still doubt. Are you really the six-tusked white elephant reborn? Because you don't have past life knowledge. Only after he entered nirvana do we not doubt. We have no wisdom, no spiritual powers. How do we know this person is a bodhisattva? How do we generate right faith? No way. Unless through your cultivation and realization. As your skills develop, only then do you see another Buddha. Then wow, hard to find a kindred spirit. Then shake hands. Are you also tired from saving beings? Only then can you ask to generate right faith in some guru. One day when you understand him, only then do you believe him. When you truly know what he's saying, when you truly know his skills, his abilities, his compassion, when you know everything about him, only then can you have right faith. Otherwise, when your desires and habits act up, what does Buddha in the whole world have to do with me? Doesn't matter. Hundreds of thousands of miles away from you. It's not that you don't believe, but there's no strength. That right faith is very tired. The mind is very tired. No strength. We're not kind. We lack the strength to be kind. We feel this world deceived and bullied you, came to this world for nothing, then very regretful about coming. Then didn't reincarnate well either. Made a mistake. Reincarnated in the wrong place, wrong family. This world deceived and hurt you, encountered the wrong people around you, nothing is right. Then of course finally negating yourself is also not good. Isn't this finished? Everything negated? When you feel you're also not good, what strength do you still have for right faith? Your enthusiasm can't arise either. I'm just a bad person. What am I cultivating? I have a pile of greed, anger, ignorance, pride, and doubt. What am I cultivating? You immediately negate it. No problem. Buddha said we are ignorant from countless lives, as long as we find the right method. If we can't find it, we slowly look, find that path, then understand that view. Then we know how to actually practice. Then we slowly begin to have right faith. Bodhicitta. Not losing these. These slowly come. Without actual practice, there's no way to achieve it. You'll just be tired. You'll be weary. This is why we're alive. When we're dying, when the four elements separate, we have no strength. It's not that we don't want to. We really have no strength left. Can't gather it together. Then muddled and confused, drowsy and unclear. Also lustful thoughts. Lustful thoughts are heavy because they are a process of repeated conditioning and 染污. Then there's sleep and food consumption that influence us quite a bit. When you break attachments, finally breaking the alaya consciousness. When breaking attachments, diet is very important. You really can't eat too much. Eating too much or eating mixed foods won't work. Maybe just 1 grain of wheat, 1 sesame seed. But this really can be done at the beginning. If you do this, you'll really starve. You'll starve to death before achieving enlightenment. So you have to reincarnate and come again. So definitely don't learn this. The matter of lustful thoughts can also stir up family conflicts. If your wife actually loves you very much, she clings to you, won't leave you for a moment. Wait. Be compassionate. Slowly explain to her. Liberate these emotional connections. Then you're free and she's also free. Because her clinging to you causes her suffering. Because she's still small. You can't expect a child, when a child is 3 to 5 years old, if you think she should be independent. Can she become independent? She has to grow to at least 18. Emotionally, it's the same. Sometimes your lover, your wife, your husband hasn't reached the time to put down toys. If you snatch things from her hands at that time, wouldn't that kill her? She would commit suicide. If she commits suicide, that karmic connection is formed. What do? Wouldn't your heart feel guilty, feel bad? Although she died, she'll come back next life. Might replay this segment. Might have this emotion come again, entangled unclearly. So we also need to use wisdom to solve our emotional problems. We can't blindly act. This requires the Mahayana Bodhisattva path. Because we're all Mahayana. One day, if you have the merit, you can also walk the Hinayana path, leaving emotions and desires to cultivate. Without merit, then Mahayana. Just a view. Whether you're ordained or lay, alone, or with many people, your mind is Tathagata. The view cannot be wrong. Then you must sympathize with the suffering of those around you. Everyone has different ages. Ages in mind nature, Some are just babies in mind nature. At this time, we must be compassionate. You've grown up. You're older. You help the 6-month-old. You can't let her fall in a pit and suffer. This is the compassionate mind. Then you say, but she's affecting my enlightenment. Slow down your enlightenment. What can you do? No rush. This world is like this. The more you understand the views of beings and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. When I first started learning Buddhism, I wouldn't even kneel in temples. I felt I knew all the views, but just couldn't kneel down. I felt my mind wouldn't submit, even if my knees knelt down, even if I kowtowed. My mind was so proud. My mind wouldn't kneel down with my knees. Who am I? I must figure it out clearly. That clay sculpture, can it touch the top of my head? Can it? I kowtow? Ultimately, why? Why should I kowtow to that clay sculpture? Why haven't my afflictions been solved even a little bit because of kowtowing? I offered 3 bananas. I also felt indifferent about this, within my ability. I wouldn't say I'm reluctant, but why offer? What purpose does putting it there serve? You see a cockroach crawling up to eat it. I haven't seen Buddha eat. Really, in temples, there are mice and cockroaches crawling. I had many doubts, As I practiced and cultivated for several years, practiced for 3 or 4 years. After practicing for several years, only then did I become a lay practitioner. Only then did I get certified. Only then did I take refuge in the temple. Took the 3 refuges and 5 precepts. Got a lay practitioner certificate. Of course not to avoid entrance fees. Just got a lay practitioner certificate. Then at that time I had some understanding of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Later, as you practice and cultivate, one day, plop, kneeling before the Buddha statue. because I felt I really prostrated completely. I felt that without Buddha's dharma giving, there wouldn't be that day for me. Because Shakyamuni Buddha is giving greatly, if he hadn't spoken his cultivation path, how would I know? I walked his path step by step, so only then did I kneel down. That was after 5 or 6 years. So where does initial right faith come from? Bodhicitta, the mind to benefit others. Buddha said to do this way. So I think that way. Anyway, try to think that way as much as possible. But there's nothing in the heart, dry. Benefit beings. Those beings are so bad. Should they also be benefited? Should they be like Sun Wukong? Kill them. They're so evil. This kind of discrimination between good and evil. What compassion. Some reach extremes, extremely evil. For example, when you think of the Nanjing massacre and so on, you think of some wars, that kind, in movies. Oh, how can you be empty, holding a knife? Do you think this is emptiness? You feel you can't do it. Buddha spoke of the world's causes and conditions, spoke of all emptiness, not speaking of your gross appearances. Doesn't the Śūraṅgama Sutra have this line? Not speaking of this world's good and evil, causes and conditions. He speaks of the universe's source. He speaks of life and space-time source. He speaks from the fundamental source. So liberation is not us in the human realm judging who's right and wrong in this world. You need to have killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, wars and plagues are continuous, So Buddha doesn't speak of these. He speaks from the fundamental source. Precisely because there is the fundamental source, you can return to it. Isn't there an example Buddha gives in the Śūraṅgama Sutra? He says how much rain falls outside the sky. I also know it, because that is something manifested according to conditions. That is me. How could I not know? They are all my fundamental source, so I speak from the fundamental source. Dependent origination. So Buddha is not a fortune teller, saying how many people are in your family, how old you'll live to. Buddha doesn't tell fortunes. Buddha tells you that you come from dependent origination and emptiness. Your fundamental source is Tathagata. Buddha tells you the source. So of course Buddha also saves from suffering and difficulty. Beings are in confused dreams, in dreams helping them fight tigers, accompanying them to liberation. Accompanying them to awakening. This is called expedient dharma. This is called non-ultimate meaning. Ultimate meaning speaks of the source. No problem if there's no bodhicitta. If it can't arise temporarily. No right face. Maintain it. Continue. Why blame yourself? We are just ignorant, ordinary bodies. We are just upside down dream thinking. Buddha came out also to tell us this. How to cultivate. How to stop upside down dream thinking. How to untie the knots of the 6 faculties. I say this using the metaphor that the 6 faculties are knots. Don't think there are knots inside that need to be pulled around. It's stopping deluded thinking. Stopping deluded thinking. Scattered thoughts and deluded mind. Then your 6 faculties naturally all untie their knots. Stuff from the eye faculties form and color. Stuff from the ear faculties sounds. Stuff from taste faculties discrimination. Stuff from touch faculties discrimination. From feeling, perception, formation, consciousness. Just a stop from the 6 faculties discrimination. You are the beginning of stopping deluded thinking. Equivalent to Śamatha Vipaśyanā. Cultivating Śamatha Vipaśyanā. So everyone thinks of back then, why did the Tiantai school's Śamatha Vipaśyanā master Zhiyi prostrate for 18 years at Tiantai, hoping the Śūraṅgama Sutra would be transmitted to China? Later Dharma master Paramatha cut open his flesh and put the Śūraṅgama Sutra inside to transmit it to China, because it is a Śamatha Vipaśyanā material, It explains very detailed why through Śamatha Vipaśyanā you can realize the way. He explains from the formation of the ear faculty, the formation of the eye faculty. How do you know? We say, how was my eye faculty formed? In my mother's belly, sperm and egg combined together. We explain from Western medicine. Buddha explains from the source. What you call is not ultimate meaning, also not unreasonable. But Buddha speaks ultimate meaning. Buddha speaks the root, source, how humans are produced. Of course, speaking of the 6 faculties, the most fundamental source, he speaks from the root source. Human 6 faculties are how humanity is produced.